Hi, my name's Molly Bernasad, and I've been in real estate since I was 8. Many of you may say, how could she be in since she was 8? Well, back then we didn't have any phones, cell phones or anything. It was all landlines. So my job was to sit next to the landline and wait for the phone to ring. So I can tell people I was in real estate since I was 8. I did make a big sale too once for Dad. But I want to tell you how my family ended up migrating to the Caribbean. And I like to tell the story primarily because it's very inspirational, it's very motivational, it'll make you think all things are possible. So when I was 7 years old, my parents went on a vacation to the American Virgin Islands. When they got home from the vacation, my mother walked in the door and she looked down at me and she said, "Guess what, honey, we're moving to St. Croix." And then my father was right behind her and he came in and said, "Guess what, honey, we're moving to the Virgin Islands." And I put my hands on my hips and I said, "Are we going to St. Croix or are we going to the Virgin Islands? Where are we going?" My father was a U.S. Marshal and he resigned from his job and he boarded a plane to St. Croix first by himself to get things started. Now, what happened on the vacation to make all of this change like this? There's a piece of land in Golden Rock, Christiansted in the Virgin Islands, and my father was standing on this piece of land. And he stood there and he looked out at the ocean and he said, "I see a condo hotel here." Someone heard him articulate that. The person next to him said, "I know the manager of Chase Manhattan." Somebody else said, "I know an architect." Within 60 seconds, this whole thing unfolded. My father started taking steps towards this dream, and basically all the pieces came together, which was my father putting the pieces together. His role was to sell the units. So without a penny of his own money, just using his mind, he sold the units to people from Syracuse. If you're from St. Croix, you're called a Crucian. So we would call them Syracusans because these were all people that relocated from Syracuse. They bought condominiums here and they stayed for a short time, like they'd use it in December or January, and then it rented out, what we call Airbnb today. He was one of the original originators of Airbnb. So it was always very fun growing up here. These were our 2 apartments. I lived in this one with a nanny and my siblings, and my mother and father lived in this one, and there was a door right here on the hallway. So I literally grew up on the beach. It was a great childhood. Actually, my father's next dream, which could be yours, was he wanted to develop this area into senior living. And even as he was dying in his 80s, he was still talking about the dream of building the elderly home. So if you go there today to St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, you'll find 2 things. Inside the restaurant here, you'll find a mural bigger than this wall with all the people that were mentioned in that 60-second dream. If you walk down this little path right here, there's a plaque dedicating to my father for basically creating and having this idea. So the moral of the story is, if you have a dream, start acting on it without a penny. So long as you put the pieces of the puzzle together, you can still make the dream happen. So thank you so much for listening. Contact me for all your real estate needs. It's very important to invest.